Hi, my name is Heather Westlake. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Today I wanted to share with you a project with the new bundle with the Prized Peony stamp set, and it has dies to match. Absolutely gorgeous set in the new catalog. There's also some ribbon that coordinates with it and gray granite, and also some faceted gems that go with it. Also designer series paper that also coordinates. Those colors are basic gray, petal pink, and the gray granite. Just really pretty, as you can see here. So let's get on with the project. It was actually a project I saw that Lisa Freeman had done, and so I wanted to recreate it and did it with my Stampers 10 groups this past month. So anyway, I just wanted to show you how that was done. So it's basically a Z fold card, and these are pretty simple as far as laying them out. You can change the design depending upon what you want to do. The basic design is to take a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock, score it and fold it in half, and then take one of those halves and score it and fold it in half as well. This ends up being scored, if you take the whole 11-inch base here, you're going to score it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2 inches. So that's the basic idea for that. The designer series paper that fits on the two pieces, the larger piece is actually 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and then the smaller one is 4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. So you'll notice here there's a white piece inside where you can write on with your sentiment and such, and whatever you wanted to say to the card recipient. So that piece, as well as this petal pink piece, are exactly the same size, so they can lay over the top of each other there. And that size is 2 3/4 by 3 1/2 inches. The smaller white piece on the front is 2 1/2 inches by 3 1/4 inches. So I went ahead and just put the designer series paper on, attached the white piece and the petal pink piece. For this piece, I actually end up using the sentiments from the stamp set and the leaves and stamp them with our basic gray ink. So what's interesting about that, for a little tip to keep in mind, is that with our classic ink pads that have the water-based dye, you can actually stamp with them and then use our Stampin' Blends, which are the alcohol markers with double tips. So you don't always have to use the Memento ink. But just remember, if you needed black, that's the one you want to use, not the StazOn. So just keep that in mind, that you can color after just using one of those classic ink pads. So that's what I did here on a scrap piece of white, and then ran it through the Big Shot with the die here that coordinates. So we did that. To color it with the Stampin' Blends, the colors I used were light Calypso Coral, dark petal pink, and light petal pink. So I personally always start with the dark and go to the light. I know some other people do it the other way around, but the colors seem to blend a little bit better for me, so that's what I do. So I'm just going to use it has two tips. If you can see that, there's a fine point and then kind of a brush tip. With the fine point, you can push as hard as you want, can't damage the tip. With the brush tip, really, really fragile. Want to be careful with that. You don't have to push hard at all because the alcohol just flows. They're just the nicest markers I've ever seen. Plus, they're great for blending colors together to make images look more three-dimensional. So, like I said, I'm going to use the tip here that I can push really hard with, so I can just do it fairly quickly. Just color in the center, and then I'm just going to go into some of these areas that would be normally shadowed in the flower. And I'm really just kind of scribbling because I'm going to pull some of that color out, so I don't have to be hugely careful here. I'm going to switch to the dark of the petal pink, and I'm just going to kind of pull some of that out. Ideally, if it was a bigger image, I'd be doing little tiny circles and pulling it out, but I'm really just trying to get some of that darker color pulled out here. So again, just kind of scribbling out with those. Then I'm just going to take the light petal pink, and I am going to use the brush tip here just so I can kind of go over the whole thing. So part of this is filling in the color that was left blank. So it'll be the light areas of the flower where the light would be shining on. The other big huge thing that this is doing is blending all those darker colors kind of together. It's washing it with some of that alcohol, so it just does a great job of blending it all together. Now if you get done and you're like, I don't really like it, I think I want some of those darks darker, you can totally go back in and add a little bit more, whatever you want to do, that's no problem. And then you can just kind of go back over it with lighter. I do want that center to kind of pop, so I am going to do that just a little bit darker there. Just add a little bit there. If you think that needs to be blended even more, you can kind of go back in. So there's really not too much you can do to it to ruin it, which is helpful. So anyway, that gives you an idea how I did the flower. And for the leaves, I had, like I said, stamped them with the basic gray. Then I went back in and used the light and dark of the Mossy Meadow to color those, and so that's what that looked like. Then I can just attach my flower here over the top however I would like, and then I added some of our rhinestones and put them in 3 places. Usually if you're attaching embellishments, you want to have 3. Design wise, it kind of leads your eye around the image and around the composition, so just always a great tip to keep in mind there. So when you open it up, then you have this inside and you can write on it. So like I said, a pretty simple thing. And so thanks, Lisa, for the idea. And yeah, the Peony Bundle is just great. Really beautiful, and a lot of great ways you can use it. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.